is the highly anticipated Warhammer 40K series starring Henry Cavill in Serious Jeopardy. Before we get started, if you're new to the channel and enjoying the content, make sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon so you never miss an update. In a shocking twist, developers from Space Marine 2 are calling out the gaming industry for prioritizing trends over meaningful gameplay, while Games Workshop faces mounting pressure from Amazon. What does this mean for fans who have been eagerly awaiting this adaptation? In today's discussion, we'll explore how the once promising collaboration may be unraveling and why it's crucial for Games Workshop to rethink its strategy. But that's not all. While Warhammer hangs in the balance, Space Marine 2 is thriving with over 2 million copies sold. We'll uncover the secrets behind its success and why the developers believe that many big-budget games are missing the mark. What does this all mean for the future of gaming? Stick around as we dive deep into this unfolding drama. In recent months, the gaming community has been buzzing with discussions surrounding Ubisoft and its ongoing series of controversial decisions. However, today we're shifting our focus to a topic that demands our attention: the fate of Henry Cavill's highly anticipated adaptation of the Warhammer 40K universe, which now finds itself in serious jeopardy. Alongside this, we'll explore how the developers of Space Marine 2 are vocally critiquing the gaming industry for its increasing obsession with superficial trends at the expense of genuine gameplay experiences. There's a lot to unpack here, so let's delve into the details. First, let's discuss the situation with Henry Cavill and the Warhammer 40K series. This vast and intricately crafted universe has captured the hearts of many fans, but it poses a significant challenge for anyone attempting to adapt it. Late last year, Games Workshop revealed its collaboration with Amazon to bring Warhammer 40K to the screen in a live-action format. For fans of the franchise, this announcement sparked a sense of cautious optimism, especially with Henry Cavill, an ardent fan of Warhammer, attached to the project. However, there is a cloud of skepticism surrounding Amazon, particularly given their previous attempt with Rings of Power, which left many fans disappointed. The Warhammer 40K universe is colossal, featuring towering space marines and a plethora of formidable creatures, requiring a staggering budget and cutting-edge CGI to do justice to its rich lore. Translating this complex world into a live-action series that satisfies both die-hard fans and new viewers is no small feat. Unfortunately, the mounting challenges may have proven too great. A reputable source, The Archcast, suggests that the hopes of witnessing a live-action Warhammer 40K series might already be extinguished. At the core of this dilemma is the partnership between Games Workshop and Amazon. In June 2024, they reached what was anticipated to be a pivotal moment in their collaboration. However, as they approached the midpoint of their contract, the lack of progress was alarming. The Archcast speculated on 3 potential outcomes for the project. It could gain the momentum it desperately needs, be put on indefinite hold until a viable direction emerges, or face complete cancellation. Unfortunately, signs indicate that the latter may be the most plausible scenario. It's disheartening for Warhammer enthusiasts who had been eagerly anticipating the live-action adaptation of this beloved universe. The prospect of seeing Henry Cavill, who is not just a talented actor but also a passionate fan of Warhammer, bring this world to life felt like a dream materializing. However, the reality is that adapting Warhammer for the screen was always going to be a formidable challenge. The sheer scope, intricacy, and financial demands of the franchise make it an uphill battle. This universe is not just populated with epic battles, it is rich with towering characters and fearsome adversaries, and the costs associated with creating the necessary CGI would be astronomical. In my view, the most viable solution would be to explore an animated format for Warhammer. Consider Amazon's success with Invincible, a series that managed to retain the violence and intensity of the original comics while avoiding the excessive costs associated with live-action production. A similar animated series for Warhammer could do justice to the intricate lore, allowing for the reuse of models and the depiction of its vast scale without exorbitant expenses. If the animation style were inspired by the CGI trailers we've seen for Space Marine 2, it could maintain a gritty, realistic aesthetic while being significantly more budget-friendly. Of course, this shift would likely be disappointing for those clinging to the hope of a live-action adaptation, especially with Cavill's name attached to the project. However, it's crucial to note that even his involvement isn't guaranteed. Currently, Cavill does not possess an official contract with either Amazon or Games Workshop, only the prospect of a role if the project advances. Given the ongoing stagnation, it appears that even this glimmer of hope may be dimming. A significant point of contention in this development has been the concept of female space marines. The Warhammer community has voiced substantial opposition to this idea, and it appears that Games Workshop is leveraging this backlash as a signal to Amazon that certain creative directions are simply unworkable. On the flip side, Amazon has its own diversity initiatives to fulfill, and they are unlikely to pursue a narrative centered on the more relatable, yet less iconic Imperial Guard. Their focus is on Space Marines, but the creative vision they have for the series may not resonate with what fans expect or align with the constraints set by Games Workshop. It is undeniably frustrating to witness such a monumental opportunity slip through the cracks. Warhammer 40K possesses the potential to become the next massive franchise akin to the Marvel Cinematic Universe or Star Wars. Yet this potential is being squandered by entities that appear to lack a genuine understanding of the property and its dedicated fanbase. Games Workshop would be wise to reassess its partnership with Amazon and consider alternative avenues, perhaps prioritizing animation as the primary medium for Warhammer storytelling. Envision an entire animated series featuring Henry Cavill lending his voice to one of the characters, his likeness rendered through cutting-edge CGI. While it may not be live action, this approach could still deliver the captivating Warhammer content that fans are yearning for. While Warhammer finds itself in a state of uncertainty, Space Marine 2 is enjoying a remarkable trajectory. Developed by Saber Interactive, the game has achieved impressive success with over 2 million copies sold. In a recent interview with IGN, Saber's chief creative officer Tim Willits candidly discussed the current state of the gaming industry, shedding light on why many big-budget titles are faltering. He emphasized that the downfall of these games isn't due to a decline in the genre itself, but rather a disconnect between developers and the desires of players. Let's delve into some recent examples. Titles like Concord and Suicide Squad stumbled not because of a lack of ambition, but because they attempted to encompass too much within their designs. By trying to incorporate a myriad of features and concepts, these games ended up spreading themselves too thin, resulting in products that failed to excel in any specific area. In stark contrast, Space Marine 2 capitalized on its strengths. The game is refreshingly straightforward, offering engaging melee combat, satisfying range attacks, and waves of enemies to defeat. By honing in on these elements and executing them exceptionally well, the game has struck a chord with players. Willits pointed out a concerning trend among developers over-scoping projects by attempting to include excessive features simply because they're prevalent in other games. This leads to bloated and unfocused titles that lack the ability to resonate with players. He emphasized that Space Marine 2 didn't need to hit the ambitious target of selling 5 million copies to be deemed a success. Instead, the development team prioritized delivering a solid and polished gameplay experience, a choice that ultimately paid off handsomely. This approach stands in stark contrast to the practices of many North American developers who often set sky-high sales expectations, labeling anything less than 5 million copies as a failure. This mentality fosters a culture of inflated expectations, resulting in significant budget overruns and underwhelming releases. It's a primary reason why numerous games today seem homogenized. Developers are too caught up in ticking off features from a checklist instead of focusing on delivering a genuinely enjoyable core experience. One of Willits' most notable criticisms is the industry's tendency to chase trends. Rather than concentrating on the elements that truly make a game fun, many studios are fixated on cramming in as many popular mechanics as possible. This often leads to games that feel overloaded and lacking direction, attempting to cater to a wide audience while ultimately failing to satisfy anyone. As the gaming landscape continues to evolve, Space Marine 2 serves as a reminder that sometimes less truly is more. By focusing on what made the original title beloved and providing players with an engaging, uncomplicated experience, Saber Interactive has set a new standard for what it means to create a successful game in today's crowded market. Meanwhile, developers from Eastern countries, particularly Japan and Korea, are flourishing in the gaming landscape. A prime example is Ryu Georgia Gotoku, the studio behind the Like a Dragon series. They have established a reputation for consistently releasing focused and enjoyable games without the need to reinvent the wheel. By adeptly reusing environments, characters, and mechanics, they manage to keep their experiences fresh while avoiding the pitfalls of overwhelming players with unnecessary features. This emphasis on core gameplay is what distinguishes Space Marine 2. It does not aspire to be anything more than a fast-paced, brutal action game. You step into the shoes of a Space Marine tasked with annihilating hordes of aliens using an array of melee weapons or ranged guns. There's no need for a complex relationship system or an elaborate quest structure. You are there to fight, and that's precisely what the game delivers. So what's the takeaway here? While Warhammer 40K finds itself in a precarious position, Space Marine 2 is thriving, a testament to the potential for success through simplicity and a strong understanding of player expectations. As the industry grapples with its identity crisis, it's crucial for developers to remember the core elements that truly resonate with players. If Games Workshop aims to see its beloved franchise flourish, perhaps it should take a page out of Saber Interactive's book and focus on creating a genuine, entertaining experience rather than chasing trends or bending to external pressures. Stay tuned as we continue to monitor the evolving landscape of gaming, the fate of Warhammer 40K, and the future of Space Marine 2.